Alright, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we got some blue Kuzan action lined up for you. And we're going to hop straight into it today. Okay, we've got quite a bit to talk about with this new leader. A lot of potential, okay, but a lot of things to go over as well. So let's hop straight into it. I'm going to break down the video real quick so you know what you're getting into. First things first, we're going to head over to the deck list. We'll break that down and talk about it. After that, we're going to head over to the sim. We got 5 games on the sim, and then we're going to finish up by recapping the leader, and I'm going to tell you guys what I think about it moving forward. Okay, now let's do this. I will have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant deck lists and links and stuff like that in the comment section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Today's video is brought to you by Nin Garden, and their summer kickoff sale is live. They're offering 10 to 40% off site-wide across the entire store. For a limited time, get a free playmat tube with every Sun God playmat purchase while supplies last. Also, don't forget to use my code, the VV Theory, at the checkout for an extra 10% off. Alright, so let's go and break down the deck list for today's video, guys. Starting off with the leader, Kuzan is a 5,000 power, 5 life, mono blue navy leader with the effect of whenever you trash cards from your hand due to your navy card effects, you may draw an equal number of cards that were trashed due to that effect. Okay, we'll talk about that more in just a second. First, we're going to run through the entire list. So if you're a newer player, I'm going to mouse over each card as we go over them. Be sure to pause and read them if you don't know what they do. Okay, so we're running 4 Tashigi, running 2 Maynard, running 4 of the Sengoku, 2 Hina, 2 Gion, 2 Charlotte Pudding, 2 Borsalino, 4 Suru, 4 Zephyr, 4 Kuzan, 1 Borsalino, the 7 cost, 4 of the 7 cost Sakazuki, 1 Kazuki Odin, 1 Aramaki, 4 Monkey D Garp, 4 Ice Block Pheasant Peck, 2 Gum Gum Red Rocks, and then 3 Gravity Blade Raging Tigers. Now, what this deck is trying to do is it's trying to always go second. Okay, you're always trying to go second. And let me explain the even curve real quick, and then we'll kind of go back to the odd curve. Turn 1, you want to play out Tashigi and fix your hand a little bit. You know, 1 cost Searcher will take it every time, right? Or even going turn 1 Maynard. This is fine as well. It's just a 2 cost chump blocker for Navy. Okay, so going first, one of those cards. Going second, you really want to slam down the Sengoku and fix your hand even more. Guys, this is basically like a trash 1 draw 3 is what it ends up being. So when you play this card out, you trash a card, you do a top 5 search and grab 2 Navy characters out of that, or two Navy cards out of that. The rest go on the bottom of your deck in any order, and then you draw a card from your leader's effect. So this card, yes, we want to slam this down as early as possible right on turn 2. Okay, going first or second. And then the other option, though, would be this Borsalino. Again, this is just a nice, if you're going second and you did not get Sengoku, not a problem. You can just go ahead and slam down the Borsalino. You know, worst case scenario, you can put down the Skion. It is a 4 cost 5k body. But it's meant to be a 2k counter, and it's really supposed to be against the Nami matchup. Okay? And then, so that's going second on turn 2. And now turn 3, you do have these 5 cost, these 5 drop options, but this is the card we're going for, okay? Kuzan, incredible. You're going to drop this card down on 6 Dawn. You're going to trash a card that's, you know, that's cycling with your leader effect, of course, right? And now you're locking down their character, and you have an 8,000 power character on the board now. That's a lot to deal with, and sometimes this card can be a 7 cost character if you read the effect there. If you have 5 or more cards in your hand, it's a 7 cost character, which means your opponent can't like Gravity Blade it or something like that. Okay? And then after that, on your 8 Dawn turn, that's where the deck goes ballistic. You get to drop down the Garp here, trashing a card, again, cycling with your leader effect, and then playing out an 8,000 power or lower Navy character. We're running 1 Aramaki for that. We're running 1 of the 7 cost Borsalinos, and then 8 other ones here, 4 of the Sakazuki and 4 of Kuzan. The best combo that I've kind of seen with Garp is actually just chaining Kuzans. Because when you're chaining the Kuzans down, you're flooding your board with these massive characters, and your opponent's not getting to attack. So you're also building up a lot of card advantage, and you're probably building bigger characters than your opponent most of the time. You know, there's going to be some exceptions to that, obviously. But generally speaking, you're dropping much bigger characters than your average opponent will be dropping. Okay? And especially when you go like, again, imagine if this is what you get. If you go turn 3, going second, on 6 Dawn, Kuzan, to make it where they can't attack with the character, and then next turn you go Monkey D. Garp into Kuzan. Now you have 3 8,000 power characters on the board, and they didn't get to attack with like their best character 2 turns in a row. And you cycled 3 cards, by the way, because this has an on-play to trash a card to do the effects to lock down their character's attack for the turn. So, okay, that cycles a card. Then you do the Garp effect, trashing a card to cycle a card to play out the Kuzan, which trashes a card to cycle out a card as well. So the leader gets a lot of value in this deck. It gets a lot of mileage. Okay, and that's the general strategy you're going for. So again, you always want to go second whenever you can. Turn 1 Tashigi, turn 2 Sengoku, turn 3 Kuzan into turn 4 Garp. And hey, if you do get the Sakazuki instead of the extra Kuzan, not a big deal. Sakazuki draws cards like crazy as well. Look at this, guys. If your leader's Navy type, draw 2 cards on play. So with Garp, you're going to literally play out Garp on 8 Dawn or more, right? You play him out for 8. You trash a card, and then you play out the Sakazuki, and now you draw a card, you know, with the leader's effect from you know, the Garp plus leader effect, and then you draw 2 more from Sakazuki. Really, really powerful stuff going on there, and you're filling your hand out, so you're not even going down in hand size. Okay? Now, going first, it's a little bit different. It's not quite as good, but it's still really not that bad. We still want to go turn 1 Tashigi. We still want to go turn 2 Sengoku. Okay, that is just set in stone. We always want to go turn 1 Tashigi into turn 2 Sengoku whenever we can. But now on your turn 3, you only have 5 Dawn. Well, we actually have 3 really decent options there. This Borsalino is just a nice quality blocker. Pause and read it if you don't know what it does. It's very hard to get rid of this, and it acts as like a 4-cost 6K blocker. Okay, but if you don't get that card, these are 2K counters that double over as our 5 drops in here. So the Suru is a 5-cost 4K with the 2K counter, and these are both Navy, of course, right? And then on play, so for Suru, on play, you may trash 2 cards from your hand, and your opponent returns one of their characters to the owner's hand. So you're going to trash 2 cards, and then draw 2 cards, and then your opponent has to push a character back to their hand. Now, this card is not quite as good into decks that spread super wide on the board because they're just going to pull back the card they want to. You do not get to choose which character to push back to your owner's hand or to the owner's hand with this card. Okay, your opponent gets to choose out of all the cards on their board. However, imagine if your opponent has no cards on the board and they just drop down like a huge 8, 9, or 10 cost character. Okay, well, you can just play out Suru to trash 2 and draw 2, and then they have to return the character back to their hand because they have no other legal target. Okay, this is a good card into decks that go super tall. Okay, but Zephyr is a good card for dealing with decks that go pretty wide because he does the same thing on play, but notice this. It's a little bit different than Suru. Now, and another thing too is Suru is a 5-cost 4K 2K counter. Zephyr is a 5-cost 5K 2K counter. So you're getting more stats there. And then on play, you trash 2 cards from your hand with Zephyr's effect, period. Right? That is an on-play effect. You do that. You trash, and it doesn't say you may. You're going to trash 2 cards from your hand, which means you're going to draw 2 cards with Kuzan's effect. And then you get to kind of keep this character on the board for as long as you need to before you cash in on the activate main. That makes you trash the character and return up to 1 character with a cost of 5 less to the owner's hand. So think of it like this. It does not say your opponent, right? Like Suru is very much locked to, okay, I play it down right away, I trash 2 cards, and then my opponent has to choose a character to return back to their hand. Zephyr says you can return up to 1 character with a cost of 5 less to the owner's hand. So if we needed to later in the game, we could even do something along the lines of like, I don't know, so we played this card out, right? And then we can actually trash this card and maybe bounce back Sengoku or Tashigi to our hand and then go from there. It just has to be a 5-cost or lower character. So he has really solid utility. And then after that, so going first, we got Tashigi on turn 1, Sengoku turn 2, one of these 5 drops, or the Borsalino on turn 3. And on turn 4, we can start dropping Kuzans, but we have some other options as well. Look at these 7 drops, guys. Borsalino, Sakazuki, and Kazuki Odin. Pause and read this card if you don't know what it does. All the blue-yellow ace players out there know, and probably all the blue-yellow Nami players as well. Great card. We can get recurring value from this every turn, and your opponent is not getting this card off the board. It's not happening unless you just run out of every card in your hand, right? Because this card is going to let us recycle cards like Tashigi, cards like Sengoku, and we can even recycle cards like Garp if we needed to, or even like this Sakazuki. I mean, imagine on a turn where we swing out 8s all the way across the board and we're just trying to fill our hand back up. excuse me, if we're just trying to, actually, let's even use a Kuzan example. We'll use both of them, but here we go. If you go ahead and smash out, swing in for everything for the whole turn and don't use any Dawn, you have 10 Dawn, right? Let's just say it's a 10 Dawn turn. Okay, well, I'll pay 3 to stand up my Kazuki Odin and return either this Sakazuki or this Kuzan back to my hand, and I can just replay them next turn. Now they cannot attack into them, and if I replay the Kuzan, I get to cycle a card out with this character plus the leader effect and lock down an attack. And if I played out the Sakazuki again, okay, well, now I'm getting all this extra, you know, card draw. So, you know, there's something to be said there. Kazuki Odin is just going to become, I think this card, Kazuki Odin, is going to become a blue staple across the board. Okay. What else? Okay, we are running one Aramaki just because it's nice to have utility. And in a deck like this, guys, notice what it does. Discard 1 card from your hand and return 1 cost 2 or lower character to the bottom of its owner's deck. And then this character gains plus 3,000 power for the turn. So we're going to be able to bounce cards. You know, we can either return something like our own Tashigi to the bottom of our deck, and then we get to, and that we would be able to cycle, right? Because we're trashing a card from a Navy effect. Okay, we're trashing a card from a Navy effect, and then we're returning this Tashigi to the bottom of our deck. This Aramaki gets plus 3k for the turn, and then we get to draw a card with our leader's effect because we trashed a card with a Navy effect. Really good stuff here, but it's also not... I could see going up to 2 Aramakis, but at the same time, I think it's nice as a 1-of. I'll probably keep it as a 1-of because we have a lot of searching in this deck between the 4 Tashigis and the 4 Sengokus and all the extra cycle built in with the leader's effect and the card draw and everything. I think just having a single Aramaki is probably fine. Same thing with the single Borsellino. We're running one of the old OP05 Borselinos. It's an 8,000 power character we can cheat out with Garp's effect, just like Aramaki is too. We can cheat this card out with Garp's effect, and we could potentially bottom deck a 4-cost character. You know, not too bad, right? Not the best interaction in the world right now, like in the current state of the game, but it's also not terrible. Even if we are just cheating out an 8k on this with the Garp's effect, we'll take it. Okay? And then, of course, we're running 2 Gum Gum Red Rocks, just incredible removal, and then we're running 3 Gravity Blade Raging Tigers. This is a Navy searchable event, and it's going to help us clear out the board. And then, last but not least, we have 4 of these Ice Block Pheasant Pecks. These are just really, really solid events in the game right here. I mean, look at this, guys. For one, you're going to get a 4k counter, and you're going to trash a card, which lets you cycle a card with your leader's effect, lets you draw a card. Okay? I think that's it. Actually, I'm sorry, I didn't even talk about these that much. This is just a utility 2k counter. Activate main, rest this character, trash a card, cycle a card with your leader. Okay, and then up to 1 of your opponent's characters with an original cost of 4 less cannot activate blocker. It's better than nothing. It's just a utility 2k counter. Same thing with Gion. This is meant for the Nami matchup. Or I guess any matchup, really. Maybe even against blue-purple Luffy. Maybe even against any deck that you expect to play a bunch of events on your turn, like defensive counter events or something like that. Gion's really not that bad. Then we're running 2 Charlotte Pudding. Okay, just another incredible utility card for blue. Helps attack hand size, right? If your opponent's trying to draw a bunch of cards, no problem. We'll just pay 4 and just get rid of their whole hand, drop them back down to 5. And then Borsellino, like I think I said, I mentioned this one earlier, just a really good quality 4-cost blocker. All right, that's it, guys. Let's go ahead and hop over to the sim, and let's check this deck out and see it in action. All right, first game up we have against Black Yellow Koala. Volume is off, speed is on 2x, and here we go. Now, again, we pretty much always want to go second, and the cards we're going to be looking for are cards like Sengoku or Tashigi. If you get either one of those, I'd probably just keep your hand. Even if you don't get the turn 1 drop, it should be fine. Okay, so they're going to start off with Koala here. They did search up an event, I believe. Or what I was mousing over some type of event there. They're running the 1-cost 2k counter. Very interesting, because I think the trigger can play out a 4-cost, so we got to keep that in mind. We're going to swing in for 6. They're going to give us a 2k counter. We're going to play out the Sengoku, trashing the Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. Pulse. So against Koala, Gravity Blade Raging Tiger is not really great, right? Because a lot of their cards have cost addition on them, right? Like the new Karasu, it's a 5-cost, but it gets counted as an 8-cost, right? And then also the new Lindbergh is a 4-cost counted as an 8-cost. Morley's a 4-cost counted as an 8-cost. And Hack is a 4-cost counted as an 8-cost. So I went ahead and trashed that Gravity Blade Raging Tiger with my Sengoku's effect to do a top 2 search for, a top 5 search for 2 Navy cards, and then I got to draw a card from my leader's effect as well with Sengoku. Okay, so our hand is completely stacked now. We have a really good follow-up here where we can go next turn, play out Kuzan to lock down their best character, and then next turn Garp to play out a Sakazuki and fill up our hand. So we're in a very good position right now to transition into the mid and late game. We're going to swing for 5. They know it's coming here, guys. We're going to play out the Kuzan. We're going to trash. It looks like, I would say one Sakazuki's the right call here. Very nice. And it got us into a Borsalino. It got us into a Borsalino, but again, that's not the best possible thing, right? Because of the way that the opponent's deck works. Like that Nika Robin is really a 9 cost, and that hack is not a 4 cost, it's actually an 8 cost. So we're going to swing for 5. Let's see if they want to use the Nika Robin. It's probably the right call here because they do have a blocker. But we have to still do what we have to do here, right? We still have to keep swinging. There's no way around it. We could have tried to swing 8 into the Nika Robin here, but I don't think that would have been the right call. I don't think swinging 8 into the Nika Robin would be the right call. We're going to play out the Garp here. We're going to trash the Kuzan in hand to go ahead and cheat out the Sakazuki. We just completely refilled our hand, and we do have a red rock for anything big they try to play out, and we also have another Kuzan if we need to lock down an attack. They're going to swing in for 5 here. I think we should respect this little 5k attack because they do have a 7k on the board. Okay. They're going to play out Dragon here. They're going to put some cards from their trash to the bottom of their deck and then play out a 6 cost or lower character. And it's going to be the Kuma. They're going to gain a life from that, and here we go. Now, they have 7 cards in hand. We're on 10 Dawn. We have some options here. It really depends on what we want to do. I think we're going to attack in first here. I think I should be attacking with Kuzan first, though, the leader. I think we should be swinging with our leader first here just to see what they want to do. Okay, and it looks like I'm just going to play out the Kuzan here to shut down an attack for the turn. Yep, and we're going to shut down the Dragon because that's the biggest attack they have. We get to cycle out a card there. And, yeah, I think I should start swinging here first. So that was one thing. Like I said, I think I should have started swinging first, but I am still trying to learn the play lines here. Okay. So we trash a card with Sakazuki's effect. We attach a Dawn to this Sengoku with both of those things, with the Sakazuki effect, and then a Dawn from our Dawn pile there. And we swing for 5. We swing for 5. They cash in on that. Now we're going all 8s at face here. 8 is a very big attack, right? That's going to cost 2 2Ks or a 1 cost 4K. Okay, they got a Kuma trigger there, but I'm not super concerned. I have 3 life. I have a 1 cost 4K in hand. They can't attack with one of their characters, and I'm feeling pretty much fine about this. Okay, and now we're going to play out a Maynard over the Sengoku. So we have a chump blocker, 3 life, 1 Dawn active, and they can't attack with their entire board this turn. And they're not going to want to attack with 2 of the characters on their board because they're blockers. Okay, so here we go. They're going to swing for 5. That's very annoying, but we do want to give them the little 1k attacks, this little chip damage they're trying to sneak in here. We want to respect that because we don't have any ways to gain life with this deck. Okay, 8 into 8. That's very frustrating. So we're going to give him a 2k counter there. I think I should have given him the 1k pudding there, but that's okay. 5. We take that one. Okay, and now we're just waiting to see what they do here. They still have 9 Dawn left to play with for the turn, but their entire board is full. What are they going to do? What is the answer here? One answer I will give, hang on, pause, let me explain like one option they could do here if they have another Dragon in hand. What they could do in this situation is attack with the Nico Robin and then play out a Dragon over the Nico Robin to pull the Robin out of the trash and play it over the 4-cost Kuma. Or if you want to recycle the Kuma, they could do the same thing like I just said without attacking. Just play a Dragon over the Kuma to get it into your trash, and then pull it out of the trash to put on top of the 4-cost Kuma. To replace that, gain a life, and go about things that way. 2 pretty decent options there, and I'm only at 4 cards in hand, so I think playing out the Kuma is probably the best call there. Okay, let's see what they choose to do. Okay, they're going to play out the Koala, searching for cards they might need. Maybe they're searching for a Dragon. They play out a Kuma. Okay, that's pretty good too here, right? They gained another life. They have 2 Kumas on the board. But here's the problem. I have 4 8K characters on the board right now, right? So how are they going to choose to deal with this? What is the option? How are they going to deal with this? Because if I attach just 4 Dawn this turn, that's 9,000 power and attacks. Okay, and we're going to start off with a 7K. We're going to start off strong. They can't just free block that with a Robin. That's going to be a 2K, 1K. Okay, with that in mind, I think I should have just gone 8Ks across the board. Okay, nice. So they cash in on the hack right away. That's fine with me. They get rid of my Maynard. That's unfortunate, but we expected that card to go, and we have a backup 1 in hand. So we're going to swing 9. We're going to swing 9 and swing 9 more. Okay. Looks like I need to play out the Maynard, and then I need to do the effect of Sakazuki. I'll trash the Garp to attach a Dawn. Very nice. We swapped out a Garp for a 2K. We'll take that. Now we're going to be able to swing for 9 here. I think we might just swing for 11. Yeah, then leave 1 Dawn active for the Pheasant Peck card. I think we should have actually swung for 11 there. So we definitely should have swung for 11 because now they get to block and just do that. That's okay. They have 5 attacks this turn, but we have 2 life and a blocker, so we just have to get out of 2 attacks this turn. Okay, they're going to swing for 5. Well, that was easy. Yeah, we're just going to 1k counter out of that. I think they should have gone for lethal here, guys, to be honest. I mean, they might not have been able to have it no matter what, because I do have 3 Dawn is active here. They saw I could have swung for more with the with my Sakazuki, and I chose not to. So they might be thinking, like, okay, he actually has like 2 to 3 Pheasant Pecks in hand. You know what I mean? So we are kind of bluffing, but sometimes the bluff works out nicely. Okay, they're going to go 8 into 8. That's frustrating. So we are going to have to counter out of that. I think we're just going to give them a blocker here. And then if we use Pheasant Peck, we can get out of this one as well. Very nice. They're going to go 10 into 8. We can Pheasant Peck, trashing a card, drawing a card back. We get into a 2k counter. We save that card. Okay, so they gained a life, and that's nice and all, but there's no way they're surviving all these 9Ks, right? We're about to come in for 4 9Ks just to start our attack. Okay, well, there goes their entire hand. Now we can just swing for 8. Now we can swing for 9. That's a blocker, and 9's going to be a good game. That's calculated lethal, and we still had a 12k attack on the back end of that with our leader. Good game to our opponent there, and look at that. We did have an ice block in our life, guys, so even though we were bluffing it, we played around the possibility of drawing into them as we were getting attacked. Either way, good game to my opponent. That was a fun one. Really good stuff there. Koala's a very cool deck. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. That was the game against Koala. Now we got a game versus Blue-Purple Sanji. Volume is off. Speed is on 2x, and here we go. Okay, he's going to choose to go first. Okay, or actually, I might have chosen to go second. I don't actually remember. But whatever the case is, Sanji is going to go first here. They're going to start off with a Searcher, and we are as well. We're going to go turn 1 Tashigi. That was a rough search there, guys. Unfortunately, we had to say goodbye to a few cards. We had to say goodbye to, I think it was 1 Sakazuki and 8 cost Garp. And there goes another Sakazuki, so there's only 1 more left in the deck that we haven't gone through yet or in our life. So we had to get the cards we needed there. Make sure you prioritize the cards you don't have so you don't get stuck in that situation where you search over all the other options you might want. They're going to swing it for 5. We actually took that, and we should have countered out, I think. I think we should have even given him the Sengoku if we had to. Look at that. We draw into a Borsalino for the turn. We'll take it. And now we have 7 cards in hand. We can get punished pretty badly here if they hit us with a pudding. It wouldn't be the worst punish because our hand was a little bit crappy, but I mean, we just lost some really good stuff there. So they played out a pudding. That was not bad. That was really solid. We're going to play out a Kuzan, and we're going to say, okay, hey, that pudding cannot attack now. That's right. We taught him a lesson, and now we're going to swing in for 5, swing in for 5. We're forcing him to give his cards from hand or life now. And if he wants to attack into my 6k blocker, I think that's fine, right? First of all, we have a 2k, a 1k, and a 1k in hand. And if we lose the card, oh, well, you know, it is what it is, right? Who cares? So here we go. They're going to play out the Reiju. They're going to go 8 into 6 right here. Honestly, I think I should just let it go, and I do. I do choose to just let this go. And now let's see what we do here. We're going to play. We have 8 Dawn, so we're going to play out the Tashigi first. We get a Garp, so we can't play out the Garp just yet. We're going to swing in for 5. Then we're going to swing in for 8. And then I think we're about to slam down this Odin. Okay, your turn. Guys, when Odin hits the board, your opponent is on a clock. Okay, for the most part, it's like, wait a minute. Look at all those Tashigis on my board, by the way. Guys, look at all the Tashigis I have on the board. Next turn will be my 10 Dawn turn, and I will be able to attack for 8 twice with Odin, returning a Tashigi to my hand, and then play out a Sakazuki to draw 2 cards. So my opponent, they see this is a dire situation they're in, right? They see the situation, and they need to act fast. Okay, I guess they were not going to be able to act fast enough. And interesting, so this is a version very similar to one that I was messing around with, where they were running Blue-Purple Sanji with a little bit more of a mid-range tempo package, and then you still have all these really powerful events. I think they left a little too early, because what they could have done here, so they had, I believe they had 8 Dawn left for the turn, so they could have actually swung in for 5. Hang on, why did they leave? Oh, okay, hang on. Watch this. This is a good teachable learning moment for Blue-Purple Sanji players. Watch what they do. Okay, let's count our hand real quick. They swing for 5. We take it. How many cards is in the Sanji player's hand right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Watch this. They're going to Dawn -1 play out Buff Burst. What's the problem? Pause. I actually have it up on the screen right now. What's the problem here? If you have 6 or less cards in your hand, draw 2 cards. That's why they left early. They left way too early. So let's pause and look at their hand. Boom. Okay, here it is. So here's where they gave up. they still had 7 Dawn, or excuse me, they still had 8 Dawn left for the turn, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Dawn. So they could have played out this 7-cost Luffy, no problem. You know, not a big deal, even if you can't play it out with any kind of tempo, or even seeing my board, it might not have been the worst idea in the world to just Gravity Blade these 2 costs off the... No, never mind, I would not have done that. I'm not going to lie, guys. I would not have done that. I would have just played out the 7-cost Luffy here, just to put something on the board, and then leave 1 Dawn active. In fact, hang on. Yeah, if they had done that, hear me out, guys. So they had 8 cards in their hand, right? Before they played out the Buff Burst on accident when they didn't mean to, they had 8 cards in hand. So if they play out the Luffy for 7, you don't have to Dawn -1 because there's nothing for you to get, right? Just play him out for 7, and then play out the Buff Burst with your leader's effect. You'll still have 1 Dawn active for the turn for your Concaster or your Gum Gum Giant. They can Dawn -1, Buff Burst, and go down to 6 cards in hand, and then draw 2 cards and go from there. But I'm not going to lie, guys. I don't know if that even matters. Because, like I said, this next turn here, they have a blocker, they have 1 life, and we have an Odin, a Kuzan, and then our leader attack, of course. We could just start beating into them and still develop a Sakazuki. Let me explain how this turn would have looked, guys. For us, say they did the play I just said, which I think was a slightly more optimal play given how bad their hand is very bricked, guys, to be fair to them. You know, it happens. But I think the most optimal play is to play out the 7-cost Luffy and go from there, leaving a Dawn active after buff bursting. They would have drawn into a 6-cost Luffy and then whatever's under it. Our next turn, though, this is what our next turn looks like. We go, okay, swing 5 with our leader, 8 with Kuzan, 8 with Odin, stand Odin, returning a Tashigi, and swing 8 more. They would be able to survive that, I believe. I believe they would be able to survive that, but they'd have to use their blocker that turn and everything. Then, afterwards, after we return the Tashigi back to our hand, I think we actually play out the Tashigi again to do a top 5 search, and then we play out the Kuzan, locking down their the 7-cost AK Luffy they just played. And next turn, it's going to be the same story all over again, but even worse. Good game to our opponent. They left a little bit early. Make sure you know what your cards do, guys. They accidentally used Buff Burst when it was not the appropriate time. They had too many cards in hand to draw 2 cards. It happens. Not a big deal. Okay, next game. Okay, we got a game versus Purple Yellow Rosinante. Volume is off. Speed is on 2x, and here we go. Purple Yellow Rosinante. That's after today's video, that's the 1 leader I have left to cover from OP12. Okay, so here we go. They're going to start off turn 1 with the Searcher. They're going we go turn 1 nothing. We have no turn 1 play. They're going to swing 6 on their turn 2. We're going to 2K counter out. They're going to play out a Trafalgar Law for 4. For 2, a 4-cost Trafalgar Law for 2 with the leader effect, which ramps them a Dawn. Very nice interaction there. We're going to play out Son Goku. We're going to fix our hand a little bit, you know, get some cards we need. Nice. We got into a we got into a Monkey D. Luffy and a 2K counter Zephyr. We already have Sakazuki in hand. They hit me with a Trafalgar Law. We lose our blocker, and we lose a 6-cost Kuzan. Feels terrible. They attack in. We bottom deck their card with a Red Rock. And now I'm feeling a little bit better about the situation, but that was brutal. Guys, that 4-cost Law right there just absolutely messed me up. That card messed me up, man. That was unfortunate. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and trash the Ice Block here in a 2K to find better cards, hopefully. Cycle out some cards here. We got a 5K on the board. It's their turn. They're going to do Dawn -1. They're going to play out the Trafalgar Law. They're going to swing for 7. We're going to take it, and here we go. We're going to play out the Garp here, trashing a card from hand. Probably the Tashigi in this situation, or even the Sengoku, because Tashigi's easier to play out with these big characters I have. If I have to play out another Garp next turn, I can follow up with a 1-cost Tashigi and still have 1 Dawn left for an Ice Block. That's why I chose this to keep the Tashigi over the Sengoku. Okay, our board is massive now. Can they deal with this? How are they going to deal with this? I think I should have actually... So, okay, we had a mess up there. Pause. This turn... I should have swung for 5. Oh, no, excuse me. They did have a blocker on the board that was a 6K, and they were 6K life. Never mind. I was going to say, why did we not swing? That's why. It makes sense now. But I think what we should have done here is maybe attach a Dawn to Zephyr to a swing in for 6, and then bottom deck the Trafalgar Law with the Zephyr. Or, excuse me, not bottom deck, but push the card back to hand. However, we have 7 cards in hand, so that would not have been a very good play. So never mind. We did things the right way. We did it the right way. Okay, they're going to play out another of the 7-cost Laws here. They're going to swing in for 9. We're just going to take that. We're not getting out of that one. They're going to swing for 9. We're going to give them a 2K, 2K, 1K. And here we go. Back to us. All right. So we're in a situation here, guys. We're in a little bit of a situation here, right? How are we going to deal with this? How are we going to deal with this? So they have these massive characters on the board. They're at 3 life. They have a blocker. Where is their weak spot? Hang on. Let's go back. Guys, where is like the one weak spot that they have right now? Right? Let me hit play. Hang on. It's not moving. There we go. Okay, pause. The weak spot for them right now is actually their hand. Right? Like that's their weak spot, but it's going to be hard for us to hit that because we don't really have, I mean, their board is massive. That's an 8,000 powered character on the board. So how are we going to, you know, we want to take advantage of their weakest spot, which in this case happens to be their hand. So there's actually an idea to not really attack in the face here or just go all into the board. Let's see what I choose to do. Or we could just try to go for lethal because, I mean, we can just bounce this Trafalgar Law back to their hand with the Zephyr if we need to. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we choose to do here. I like the red rock as well. I like just red rocking this. Okay, we got to grab. It looks like we did a TCG. Yeah, we're gonna grab the blocker Maynard here. We're gonna use the Sakazuki's effect to trash a card, and we're gonna attach it on to our. Okay, I knew there was a play mistake this game, guys. So we attached it on to the Zephyr. I meant to hit attack first into 6. And I accidentally hit trash the card to push a 4 cost or lower back to the owner's hand, or a 5 cost or lower, whatever it is. That was an accident, guys. I meant to attack first, but the buttons are stacked like right on top of each other, and I accidentally hit trash the character before attacking. That was just a mistake. That was not a blunder. That was just a misclick. Whoopsie daisy. And look at this. I'm like, oh man. So I just pushed the Sengoku back to my hand. I'm like, okay, let's pretend like we meant to do that, I guess. And now we're going to swing in for 6. And now we're going to swing in for 8. And then we're going to swing in for 8 more. That completely threw me off there, guys. I think I had entirely different ideas this game to actually go for the board. So, pause. Let me explain what my original plan was going to be. I was going to swing 6 at face. And remember, I have 2 8K bodies on the board. So it's going to be 6 at face with the Zephyr that I accidentally trashed. 6 at face with my leader. And now he's probably going to respect those attacks. And that would drop his hand size down massively, right? Now, what I would do is trash the Zephyr to bounce the Law back to the owner's hand, and then I would start swinging into this Law on the board. So that was the one major difference, and then I still had a red rock in hand to get rid of the other one, just in case. And then his hand size would be very low. He'd be gone 2 characters that turn, because I'd be pushing the Trafalgar Law back to his hand, and then the other one I would be trying to bottom deck. So I guess he could have also saved 1 attack by taking a life, but you guys get the idea. You guys see what I was going for there. That was the logic at least, but once I messed up that attack there, I just said, okay, whatever. We're just going all in at face here. Okay? All right, here we go. Do you guys do the same thing? It does happen to me every now and then. You know, you get tilted, right? Like, I just made this massive mistake. Let's just get this game over as fast as possible now. Now, sometimes it's not like a terrible mistake. You can come back from it, right? It's not a big deal. But in that situation, I was like, what a terrible blunder. It just messed up everything. And this next turn, guys, I think we just go for broke. So they're going to swing in for 8 here. We're going to use the blocker. They're going to play out a Trafalgar Law. They're going to gain a life. And by the way, the card they put into life was that card right there on the screen. It was another 7 cost 9K Trafalgar Law. So I'm thinking to myself, well, wait a minute. I might have lethal. I might have lethal here. Because the thing is, if I'm going to swing for 7 now with this Tashigi, and that Tashigi, if they don't have a 2K, 1K in hand or better, it's going through no matter what. Okay, well now, again, I just have to get through with a 7K. So I'll swing for 8, though, just to be safe. Because now I'm just going to go swing 9. And he either has it or he doesn't. Yeah, so pause. The reason we knew that is because, like I said, if he couldn't get out of this 7K, he's not getting out of the 899, right? That's just pretty much not happening unless it was some special trigger. So, yes, he could have blocked there with his blocker, but then the next 9K's coming in and he can't stop that. He only has a 2K and a 1K. Make sure you pay attention to what people are putting in their life or whatever information is being given through searchers, through things like whatever you might see where you can see your opponent's whatever hand or whatever cards they get. Pay attention to that information. It can really let you sneak lethal on people. It can allow you to take an also opportunity to go for game. Okay, good game to my opponent. Let's move on to the next one there. That was against Purple Yellow Rosinante. Now we got a game versus Silver's Rayleigh. Volume is off. Speed is on 2x, and here we go. That's right. This is the first ever Silver leader, right, guys? We got Silver's Rayleigh here, but no, this is a red leader. They're going to play out Buggy on turn 1. And then we are going to go Maynard on turn 1 to match their aggression, hopefully. And it is relevant that Maynard is a wisdom attribute character. That is actually strangely relevant here because that means I can attack in to the Buggy if I need to, right? I think it looks like a green attribute symbol. I think it's wisdom. We'll check at the end of the video if I remember. Because remember, guys, you can't attack into Buggy and KO him with slash attribute characters or leaders. Okay, they're going to play out Sanji here. Seems good. They're going to swing for 6. We're going to get out of that one. And here we go. We're going to go 5 and 3. Does he want to save this with like a 2K, 1K? Nope, he does not. I think that was very wise of him. And now we just passed the turn. Because like I said, guys, if I couldn't have got rid of him with that 5K attack from the Kuzan, I was going to be coming in for 6K with that Maynard. Okay, and then he'd have been 2 cards off in his hand. And then we also would have, he would have wanted to attack into the Maynard next turn. Okay, they're going to play out the Luffy here, revealing 2 events, playing out the Boa, putting a Dawn on his leader. The Boa does a search, and now they're just using their activate main on their Sanji, losing cards in hand, losing cards in life to go up cards in hand, and they are just smashing in here, swinging for 9. Looks like swing for 7. Seems good. We're just going to block out now. I don't want to be under too much pressure here. We're going to go 5 and 3. Let's see. He should save this card because the card kind of pays for itself, right? So use that. And then he uses that, so he gets out of it for 2 cards. But right here, we're just going to make it where... So watch this. We trash a card. And now which card... Guys, pause. I'm mousing over it right now. I'm kind of giving it away a little bit. Which card would you guys choose to lock down with Kuzan in this situation? Would you choose the Luffy? Would you choose the Boa? Or would you choose the Sanji? By the way, I don't think there's necessarily a right or wrong answer. They all have their merits, right? If we lock down the Luffy, that's a 6K. That's the biggest character. It's the hardest one for me to attack into, right? But if we lock down the Sanji, he can still use his leader effect, but he doesn't get to attack with it. He just gets to take his own life there, and then he doesn't get to cash in on the attack. That's fine with me if he wants to do that. That's fine. Boa can still just trash herself to add 2 Dawn, but if we lock that down, then she doesn't get to attack with the leader effect. So there was no right or wrong answer here, but let's see which one I choose, and tell me which one you guys would have chosen. I choose the Sanji. Now I'm going to get to draw a card, and guys, next turn, I'll be able to slam down an Aramaki if needed, and go about things like that. Okay, here we go. So we're on turn 4 for Silver's Rayleigh. Let's see what they choose to do with this 7 Dawn. Remember, they can only attack 3 times this turn with what's on the board unless they have a rush card. So there you go. They chose to take their life right up front with the Sanji just to get extra options here because they're not at risk. They're not at jeopardy of losing the game anytime soon. So they actually use the Sanji's effect there, buffing it by 2,000. Doesn't matter, though, because he can't attack with it. He's going to reveal some events from his hand here to buff his Boa. And now I think he's going to use the Gum Gum King Kong Gatling here to give plus 4K to his board here. And yeah, that's massive. That Rayleigh is an 8K right now. So they're going to attach a Dawn to the Boa here. They're going to swing for 6. I don't like that, guys. I don't like swinging for 6 there. But maybe that was all they were able to do because we're going to 2K counter out of that very easily. They're going to attach 2 Dawn to their Luffy. Now Luffy's a 9K. Okay, well, we're going to take that one. Okay, and now they're going to swing for 9. We're going to probably take this one as well. And now we're down to 1, and here we go. We're going to go 8 into 6. Can he save this? If he can, he should, but he did not. Perfect. We're going to swing for 5. We're going to probably play out the Garp here. Here we go, playing out Garp. And then we're going to trash a card from hand, the Odin, playing out the Aramaki. We're going to use Aramaki to trash a card from our hand to bottom deck that 2-cost Sanji. And now we get to cycle a card. We get a Kuzan. Okay, starting to stabilize, but you don't want to go to 0 power or 0 life against Rayleigh. Rayleigh, if you go down to 0 life against Rayleigh, guess what he's going to do to you? That's right. He's going to hit you with that, to never doubt that is powers or that is strength or something like that. And it makes him unblockable. Okay? Okay, he hits me with a Gum Gum Mole Gun, getting rid of that Aramaki. He said, you know what? That card's got to go, like, right now. That card's got to go, like, right now. It's got to be gone. Okay, they have an 8,000 power Sanji on the board. Let's see what they do. 9,000 now. And we're in a little bit of trouble here, guys. It would take me a lot of cards from my hand to get out of this. Okay, and then he only has a 5K attack afterwards. Now, we do get a Gravity Blade. We are going to bottom deck that card. He's going to swing for 5. We're going to 1K, and now we're just going to wish for the best here. Guys, I think he has revealed over the course of the game that he does have the event. I believe he does have the event. So we're going swing 9, swing 11, swing 11. You got it, or you don't. My favorite thing to say, right? He's either got it or he doesn't. So there it is. There's the event that would have made him unblockable. Okay, then 2K, 1K, 1K, and that's it. He almost got to, what did he get to? I think he got right to 11. Let me hit play one more time. I think he got right to 11K, 10, 11, and that's all he had, guys. Pause. Whew, right, wiping the sweat from our brow, and that one wiping the sweat from our forehead. That was a close one. That was brutal. Rayleigh is no joke, guys. That deck is no joke. I told you guys, man. No, I'm just kidding. All those doubters out there about Rayleigh. I'm just messing. Okay, so now we got one more game, guys. Of course, we had to have at least one game against Zoro. Volume is off. Speed is on 2x. Here we go. Zoro. Very annoying leader to go against, I'm not going to lie. We're going to play out Maynard right away here. They're going to play out they're going to use Hiyori here to do some searching. They're going to swing for 6. We're going to take that. We're going to go 2 into 0. He lets it go. I'm fine with him. Guys, any character you have on the board that's like 7 cost or under, or let me say 6 cost or under, it's not staying active, okay? So just use it as soon as you can. Like, that blocker is not a blocker. If he swings 2 and 2 with the Perona, good. Sounds good to me. Okay, and I'm actually going to 1K counter out, so that way I get to keep a card on the board, okay, and I can go from there. So now he has to swing into, he's going to Shigi, he has to get rid of the blocker now, then he's going to go into face here. We're going to use the Ice Block Pheasant Peck. Actually, no, we're not. We're not going to use the Ice Block there. We're going to go 2 into 2. He lets it go. Very nice. We're going to swing for 5, and then here we go. We're going to go and play out the Kuzan, trashing a card, locking down the Tashigi. We have another 7 cost Gravity Blade Raging Tiger in hand. He's going to go 10 into 8. I need to save this, guys. I need to save this card. 2K, 1K, we'll take 10 to face. That's fine. And now here we go. We can really shut him down here with some attacks. I'm going to swing for 5 and then 8, so I can Ice Block Pheasant Peck if needed. Swing 5, swing 8, grab Blade, get those out of here, your turn. Okay, this is the best start we could have asked for the most part against Zoro. They're going to follow up with the Cavendish. They're going to go 9 and 8. You're not getting that. That's going to be a 2K. Now he's going to go 9 in the face. We're going to Ice Block here. We're going to get rid of, it looks like the Sengoku here. Actually, we're going to get rid of the 2K and then get rid of Sengoku. I was hoping to get something else to cycle out with it, but that's fine. Okay, so here we go. I really don't want that Cavendish to stay on the board, but I just don't think we can deal with it. We're going to swing 5, swing 8. Any trigger? Looks like they might have a trigger or something. Nope, they don't. We're going to play out the Garp here. We're going to trash the Red Rock now. That's the card we should have trashed earlier, but I got a little bit greedy just in case he was going to play something massive this turn. But now, I'm not worried about him dropping the 8-cost Mihawk now. I was worried about him dropping it last turn. I now have 3 8K attacks coming through next turn, right? So you have to react accordingly. But it was a little bit greedy holding on to that Red Rock if I wasn't just going to keep it for when he does finally play out a Draco Mihawk. Okay, here we go. I'm going to swing for 6. We're going to give him, I think we should give him a 2K here. Seems good. He's probably going to get this Kuzan right here. He's probably going to load up. Well, okay, he only swings in for 9. I'm going to 2K to get out of that. He's going to smash in here, and here we go. He's going to swing in. Okay, he's going to swing in another time. Okay, we're just going to take it. We have to. And here we go. Well, we're not surviving next turn. Right, guys? Watch this. We're not surviving next turn, are we? So we're swinging 9. Swinging 9. Gives me a block and restands. Swing for 9 more. Okay, takes it. I'm going to swing for 7. Pause. This guy gets a little bit, little too comfortable, doesn't he? This guy gets a little too comfortable there. Watch what was in his hand. He did not consider the fact that I'm about to swing for 8 with that Sengoku. I have no other choice. I have no other choice, guys. If he had gotten out of that, I would have had to swing for 5 and 5. I literally don't have another choice, right? Because the game's just over otherwise. I'm not surviving this crackback. Watch this. He was a little bit off with his math here. We're going to swing for 8. 1, 1, 1. GG. He didn't have enough. If he had gotten out of that 7K there with a 1K, 1K, what would it have been? Instead of blocking with his Mihawk, he would have given me all of his 1Ks right there, and then I would have had to swing for 5 and 5. But the funny thing is, I think I still would have made it out, right? Because I think I still would have survived that instead of having to swing for the 8. Good game to my opponent. That was a close one. That came down to the wire. Good game to them, though. Okay. That's it for the games on the sim. Let's go ahead and head back to the deck list real quick. Guys, this version did pretty well for me. This is just a version I whipped up for today's video. I put a little bit of thought into it. This Odin performed very well in the game we saw it. It's like if this card hits the board, that's pretty much all she wrote, right? When this card hits the board, if they don't have a way to deal with it right away, the amount of value you're going to get from it is actually just astronomical, right? Because you're going to be pulling back cards like the 1-cost Tashigis, like the 3-cost Sengokus. Remember, guys, in this deck, this is a trash 1, draw 3 in this deck, okay? And you get to search the top 5 for 2 of those cards. So if I can start recycling Sengokus, yeah, there's going to be a real problem on our opponent's hands, right? So moving forward, I will say that I'll probably drop off this Borsalino to go up an additional 7-cost Odin. Let me find that card real quick. And unfortunately, this card will not be available for us until like September or something like that. August or September. It's going to be a while, guys, so be patient. I know, but hey, this is when OP12, I believe, comes out. Oh gosh, I'm just going to have to bring it up over on the side here, guys. Y'all are just going to have to do a trust me, bro, on this one. So for us over here in the West, right, and I will bring it over just one second. For us over here in the West, this is when all this stuff comes out. So OP12, okay, here's ST22, comes out in September, like I said. OP12, can you guys see this? Yeah. OP12 comes out in August for us over here in the West. And then, so August, OP12, September, ST22, and then going into October, we get OP13. Okay, and PRB is in here somewhere as well. I don't see exactly, it doesn't say on here, or maybe I just don't see it. I'm not sure. I don't see where PRB 02 is coming out in the West. Oh, here it is right here, guys. It's in October. Did I already say, I think I already said that and everything. I'm crazy. I don't know. ST22 is September, and then PRB is October, and then OP13 is November. Yeah. And then August is August was OP12. Okay, so there you go. So, I mean, it's going to be August, September, October, November, release after release after release. It goes OP12 into ST22, into PRB02, into OP13. So be sure to, check that down on your calendar. Okay, but other than that, I think once we get access to the Odin, I do think this deck actually becomes pretty disgusting. Like, I think it becomes very, very strong at that point. Aramaki was kind of an MVP against Silver's Rayleigh. Like, they had to get rid of that card at all cost, because every 2-cost and lower character they drop at that point, I'm just going to bottom deck it, and now I have an 8,000 power blocker. Right? I mean, that's massive, right? They just can't deal with that. So there's definitely some logic, some idea on maybe going like -1 Grab Blade and going +1 Aramaki. Because remember, we can search for both of those. Like, maybe it just makes the numbers a little bit better, and I am going to do that just for now. I'm not saying I'm going to stick with this, but this is kind of a direction I'm leaning. This card was really nice against the aggro stuff if you can get it down, especially when you can go Garp, trash a card, into Aramaki, trash a card. You just did a trash 2, draw 2 from that effect, bottom decked one of their 2-cost or lower characters, and now you have this massive blocker on the board. So this card seemed very nice. The Odin seemed very nice as well. Kuzan, incredible, but the Sakazuki, this is a card that I could go down like maybe -1 of these. I only want one a game. I don't think I need multiples. I want to see more Kuzans, more Garps, and then I still want to see Sakazuki, but maybe I do end up going like maybe -1 of these for +1 Aramaki. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. And I know that might sound crazy. Like, what do you mean get rid of this card? It's so good. On 7-cost AK, draw 2, and you can cheat out with Garp. I understand it's really good, but we only want one a game. I need effects. I need cards that come into play and have an effect, right? Like that Aramaki, like we just said, he pretty much says shut down 1 attack for the turn. And then if you're playing against a deck that has a bunch of 2-cost and lower characters, now you're shutting down 2 attacks in the turn he comes into play, and then he's blocking every turn after that and using his effect every turn after that. So this card's outstanding, right? This card's incredible. But Sakazuki only draws you cards. Yes, you can activate main and attach a Dawn to get extra value. I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm just saying I need a bigger effect when I play out this Garp, when I chain it with something like this. So who knows? We'll stick with 4 for now, but I am if we can find a better option here, I'm definitely considering it. Even something like the 7-cost that we looked at in this Borsalino. That seems pretty good to me, I'm not going to lie. That does seem pretty good. We'll have to see what happens there. Other than that, I mean, the deck was handling pretty well. It was playing pretty well into everything. I feel like it has a lot of answers. It has a lot of card draw with this Tashigi and this Sengoku. Another card maybe that we can consider adding in the future that I haven't really had the chance to mess around with. There's actually 3 cards right on the top here we should consider. Boa Hancock, Jozu, and Dracula Mihawk. These are all really nice 6-drops for the deck for when we don't run into Kuzan, right? When we don't get the Kuzan when we need it on curve, maybe we can run into one of these other ones. Boa Hancock, this is an 8,000 power character. It's not Navy, so we can't play it out with Garp's effect, but it's still an 8,000 power character, so it's right on theme for us. It's a 6-cost. It can bottom deck a 1 or less. There's some things it can do to help us out. Jozu can bounce back our Sengokus and our Tashigis for extra value while bouncing our opponent's stuff out of the way and slowing them down. And then Dracula Mihawk's just an incredible utility blocker blocker here. 6 cost, 7,000 power blocker, draw 2, trash 1. We probably don't need this card as much in the deck. If we need to go up blockers, we should just go up these Borsalinos or these Maynards. We have extra room here, or even potentially the Aramaki. What else? Isho's an interesting idea. On play until the start of your next turn, up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 7 or less cannot attack. It's a 6 cost 6k with a 1k counter that locks down a 7 cost or lower attack for the turn. I'm not in love with this effect here, but it is like a miniature version of Kuzan, right? They both cost the exact same, but Kuzan, while he does not have a 1k counter like the Isho does, Isho has a 1k counter, this card gets plus 2,000 power on it, okay? And then it also gets treated as a 7 cost when you have 5 or more cards in hand, and it locks down any character's attack for the turn. Whereas Isho only does a 7 cost or lower. That's kind of an example, guys, this is basically an example of power creep here. And I know people are going to say, but yeah, but you have to trash a card for this effect. Yeah, you have to trash a card, but you still get an additional 1,000 more power than something like this Isho got, right? And you get to lock down any character for this effect. And this goes perfectly with your leader effect. I wish the Isho allowed me to trash a card, right? That would have been incredible because it would have gone perfectly with the Kuzan. Okay, well, that's about it, guys. I don't have a lot more to say. These 2K counters, they don't come up a lot, but when they do, they're actually really nice. We're running 12 2Ks in the deck, 2 Hina, 2 Gion, and then 4 Suru, 4 Zephyr. We're running 4 of the ice blocks. So we have like 16 purely defensive counter style of effects. So that's working out. That seemed to be working out pretty nicely. And then we have like some really good walls in the deck. You know, Maynard just as a chump blocker. That's nice. The Borsellino is a nice chump blocker. And then this Aramaki. So really good stuff here. The other card that I would like to make work in this list, but I just don't think it's going to happen, is this this card here. It's called It's a Waste of Human Life. It's an 8-cost Navy event. Trigger, place all cost 2 or less characters on the bottom of their owner's decks. That's whatever. But the first part, you know, the main effect here, listen to this. Place all cost 3 or lower characters on the bottom of their owner's decks. Then until there are 5 cards in each player's hand, they discard those cards, right? So this could have been kind of cool with Kuzan, but it's just... I don't know what deck this is meant to beat. I guess it's good against Silver's Rayleigh. Like, I guess if Silver's Rayleigh or Zoro start really taking over the format, maybe we run a few of these. Excuse me. Maybe we drop off 2 of these red rocks and run 2 of these 8-cost events. Because, guys, this is going to rip their board to pieces, right? And even like Zoro, right, with all the 3-cost choppers, bottom deck all their choppers, and they discard down to 5 cards in hand. And we do too, by the way, but I think the way that this card is properly worded is it trashes the cards. Let me read this real quick. Let's go back to where we were with the products here. Whoops, not that one. On the wrong page. This one. If we go over to that card, let me check the literal translation of the card. Let me just go for all of these. Let's go to the blue cards. Event. We'll type in waste for waste of human life. And yeah, so here we go. Check this out, guys. Then you and your opponent trash cards from your hands until you each have 5 cards in your hand. So remember what our leader does, right? Remember what our leader does. If we trash a card from a Navy effect, say we have 7 cards in hand, right? Actually, let's say we have 8 cards in hand. That'll be easier for the example. Say we have 8 cards in our hand, and we play out this 8-cost card here, so we have to trash 2 cards from our hand after all the 3-cost and lower cards get bottom decked. Now we have to trash 2 cards from our hand. Okay, I guess we'll draw 2 cards back now, too. Could be something there. Who knows? Like I said, if aggro ever takes off and there's a bunch of 3-cost and lower characters running around, running rampant, then this card right here could be decent. All right, that's it. I'm done. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments section below. I'm done. Let me get the outro page on here. Guys, if you're supporting the channel in any way, shape, or form, if you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing, using my TCG Player affiliate link, if you're donating through Patreon or PayPal, if you're a Playmat supporter, a YouTube member, part of the Discord community, whatever you're doing to help me out or help out the community, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Hope y'all enjoyed. Tell me what y'all think in the comments section below about this leader, about Kuzan. So I've heard some people call him Bluezon. Is that what we're going to be calling him, Kuzan or Bluezon? Tell me what y'all think down there. I really want to hear what kind of spicy tech cards y'all been making work in the deck, something I might have not seen or looked over. So tell me what y'all come up with down there. I think the leader has quite a bit of potential, but it could probably use a few extra cards of support. A few extra cards to cheat out with Garp would make this leader probably pretty strong, right? We'll have to see what happens in the future. All right, I'm done. Hope y'all enjoyed. Till next time, peace.